Welcome to CFI After Dark. I'm the pet man, Matt Morrow, and I did not post that I was going live, but here we are. It was another long night, um, 3 hour game plus, and just literally walked in the door and said, "Let me jump on here and see what's going on." As this goes out, I'm sure more people will jump on here and kind of talk about their games that they saw tonight, their scores, their reactions. Um, I haven't really looked at many scores. I've seen a few. I've gotten some messages from certain teams and players that are very excited that they won, and we did not pick them. They have let us know that we were wrong for picking them, and it's fine. That's comes with picking games. So before we get started, I will talk about the game that we were at tonight. We were at Harding, and Garinger was Harding's first home game, and Harding won the game 49-12. But this was a 19-12 game at halftime, and I will give Garinger some credit because very easily that game could have got out of hand very quickly. But they connected on a couple of touchdown passes. That's how they scored in the second quarter. And they actually put together a pretty nice drive, kind of a 2-minute drive, and scored on the last play of the first half. And going into halftime, you felt like we could have a 4-quarter game, but I mean Harding dominated the second half, 30-0. They really got behind their offensive line and their running game. Antavius Carpenter, number 5, had an awesome game, 5 rushing touchdowns and 2 interceptions. We interviewed him after the game, as well as Coach Stone, his first win as a coach of Harding. So that's where we were tonight. Number 4, receiver for Garinger, had 2 touchdown passes from number 9 at quarterback. Those are the standout guys for them. But we'll please post your scores in your comments. I see we got a couple right here. Jay to Connect is here. Good to see you, man. Kim Watts, becoming one of the most dedicated fans. Good to see you, Kim. I think I saw you guys lost to Hopewell. I didn't see the final score, but we'll go through scores here in a minute. Jay to Connect giving us the Dudley score, 54-8 over Hillside. Dudley continuing to roll, man. I think 3A is going to be a big time war when it gets to the playoffs, man. There are a lot of contenders in 3A for real, man. Trayvon Gaither from Community School Davidson tells us they won over Corvian 35-28. I'm telling you, man, Community School, they're still rolling, still doing well. And Corvian is a program that's on the rise. If you don't know who they are, they're a charter school in Charlotte located near Mallet Creek High School. And they got a couple of athletes over there. We shouted out Douglas Quarles and Mr. Jackson in the preseason. And they've got some good talent in that program. Coach Parks, Hopewell, they won 20-12 over Berry. The one pick I got right this week. Lost every other pick in the CFI pick 'em. Oh my gosh. Horrible week for me, but it's all good, man. It's all good. And that's Hopewell's that's their second win this year, I believe. Yeah, because they beat Garinger week 1. Yeah. Hopewell off to a good start. All right. Go through some other scores here on the scoreboard. Parkwood over East Meck. That was a pick'em game for us, 37-32. Parkwood getting in the win column. Cuthbertson continuing to roll undefeated, 31-7 over South Meck. Duke Howell is Sam Howell's father, is coaching Cuthbertson off to a 3-0 start. And I heard that Sam Howell was out there watching his father coach. And that's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool stuff. Charlotte Christian holds on to defeat South Point Belmont 41-36 in a wild one. Christian moves to 3-0. Metrolina over Charlotte Latin 35-0. A barn burner between two rivals. Marvin Ridge beats Ardrey Kell 38-35. Wow, that's a fun game right there. Another fun game. Sun Valley blocks a field goal attempt at the end of the game to defeat Myers Park 34-33. Wow. Scott Curtis, what you got here? Says rough night for Argykill, losing on a last second field goal. Wow. The story is the night number 12 Chance Bryant had 95-yard pick six, 150 yards in returns, 100 plus yards receiving with 3 more touchdowns. Wow. Best two-way game I witnessed live in 10 years. And we've interviewed Chance before. He's a really great young man. He's really talented. And I'm glad to see him have that kind of night. And we'll get with him and try to get those stats, and we'll get him on that man's players, because he's a great young man, comes from a great family. Forest Hills over Walkertown 41-6. Robinson big over Concord. That's a statement. 40-0. Wow. Impressive. Christ the King over Lake Norman Charter 17-7. Pine Lake win big again 46-6 over Roanoke Rapids. And I know I got a message from Coach Trotter that said he was working on stats, and he might have sent them to me. I don't know. I haven't checked my DM in a little bit. But of course, we'll shout out who we need to shout out from that one. Cox Mill, Coach Breon Holmes getting his first win. 45-27 over Country Day. Congrats to Coach Holmes and our buddy Coach Belts for getting in the win column right there. Interesting game here. Weddington 44, West Forsyth 22. This game was a game for a while. I believe it was pretty close at halftime. And I mentioned West Forsyth being a team to watch in the 3-3-6, and they hung with Weddington for a little while. But Weddington is very hard to shut down, and they got it going. Congrats to the Warriors on a good win right there. All right, let's see. Chat administrators here. He's got a big W for Mooresville, 48-7. Blue Devil defense only gave him 25 yards. Man, I mean, if it takes putting Caleb Edstrom on the show every week to get that kind of performance, we might do that for you guys in Mooresville. That's a great job, man. Good stuff. And absolutely huge win for Lake Norman on the road at Asheville, 34-7. They got that offense going. I know the first couple games it was, kind of low scoring, but they really got it going. And, if you're going to go up to the mountain, it's always nice on the home bus ride home to have a win to celebrate. And that's good stuff right there. Gary Ashley checking in says Statesville 22, South Iredale 15. Statesville getting in the win column. Good stuff for them. Coach Cowan, he's going to continue to challenge his team, and it's going in the right direction. Congratulations to the Greyhounds. Chat administrator says North Iredale. Oh, big win over Alexander Central. Yeah, that's not easy. That's not easy, man. Congrats to North Iredale. Yeah, good stuff right there. All right. One of our pick'em games, the big pick'em game we had, West Charlotte. Oh my gosh, 21. Independence 20. They pulled it out. I retweeted the play. KD Smith hit Raheem Finch on a deep ball down the field with less than a minute left. And, he was able to run it in the end zone, and they got the extra point for the difference, man. That's wow. West Charlotte, man, they're finding ways to win. Every week they're undefeated. That's a big win. That's a big win for them. It's a traditional Charlotte rivalry. And, this is the kind of win that can propel you. Because you start looking at, and we'll talk about this next week, you start looking at the conferences, because we're getting closer to conference play. Their conference is looking kind of interesting right now. We'll dig more into that next week, but good win for West Charlotte. Congratulations to the Lions. Another pick'em game in the Greater Metro 4. Porter Ridge defeats Hickory Ridge 38-22. Another game I got wrong. Shout out to Porter Ridge. 3-0, rolling, looking pretty good. Mount Pleasant 51, Central Bears 14. They bounced back from that Concord game in a big fashion over Central Bears. Providence Day in the showcase game. Providence Day was big over Charlotte Catholic, 42-7. And I think Providence Day controlled that pretty much the whole time. Our guy Shaquan was there. He just texted me pretty much Providence Day did whatever they wanted to do. So they're looking like a bona fide number one. Good stuff for them and Coach Chad Greer and those guys continue to roll. Olympic 21, West Cabarrus 20. This one caught my eye. Yeah, Chad Administrator. If you got some details from that one, please let us know because obviously West Cabarrus. This was Jared Street had a quarterback at West Cabarrus had tagged some of us and said this was his first start um, for West Cabarrus at quarterback, and obviously he did a good job in leading that team. And after we saw Olympic Week 1, I felt really good about them, but tough loss to North Mac last week, and then they're able to pull this one out here, and a win is a win. But um, it's interesting. It's interesting, to see them here. But shout out to West Cabarrus, man. That's a great job. That's a great job, man. Miss Brianna tells us hard fought win in Indian land tonight. Yes. I have had some DMs from Indian land that told me that I should not have picked Palisades to win. That was in our pick'em this week. And congrats to Indian land. I don't remember what the score was offhand, but I felt like those two teams, would play a really good game, and it was a really good game. When we do our pick'ems, the games we pick, I try to pick games that can really go either way. Because it's easy to pick games where you got a high rated team versus a lower rated team. What's the fun in that? But anyway, great job to Indian Land, and I have a lot of friends down there in Indian Land doing a great job. Coach Mata, Coach LJ, the AD Vernon Hunter does a great job. So good stuff right there. Let's see here. Gary Ashley, yes, yeah, we saw this one come across. Gaffney defeating South Point 27-21. Two really good teams in the upstate of South Carolina, highly rated, a lot of talent on both sides. And that's what you want to see. And good football games, early in the season against strong opponents. Iron sharpens iron, and you can learn from that. And then when it gets to playoff time, we talk about it all the time. If you don't challenge yourself and you go up against someone in the playoffs that's really good, it's kind of like a shock to the system. And you can't take time to adjust in the playoffs because it's one and done. So shout out to both teams. Well played game. And Gaffney getting a big win in their cap and keeping their fans calm down. Good stuff. All right. Let's see. Armani Bird comes in. Tough loss for my Clover Blue Eagles. Lost to a very good Hillcrest Rams team 24-7. That Hillcrest team is real. They are the real deal, man. They do a great job. And from what I know about Hillcrest, I know they got kind of tripped up in the playoffs a little early last season. So they're on a mission. They're on a mission. They feel like they're just as good as some of the best programs in South Carolina, and that wins like that will prove it. So, but stick with Clover, Armani. They're always good. They always got good talent, and I know they have a new coach. Trying to get his way of things settled into the program. All right. What is this about? I don't know what that's about, Chad Administrator. You had to give me some more context there. I don't know what happened there. And thank you for that score, Miss Brianna. 27-26. Wow. Heck of a football game right there. Good stuff. Good stuff right there. All right, a few more scores. Let's see here. Union Academy big over Highland Tech, 50-0. Good job for those guys. Monroe big over Rocky River, 48-7. This was a good one. Huff 20, Dutch Fork 17. If you haven't heard that one, Huff going down the Dutch Fork and winning. Dutch Fork is 0-3. 0-3. Get a load of that. Now I know they've got, their quarterbacks hurt and some different things like that, but I mean, usually Tommy Knotts will find a way. But Huff got a good win, and they go to 2-1, and good hard fought football game right there. Newton Conover 46, East Rutherford 39. Good job for Newton Conover. Now, Chat Administrator says their game was delayed an hour because they didn't have their. Interesting. I don't know what to say. It's a little unusual for sure, but maybe something got twisted or delayed or whatever. But all right. If you got that score, please let me know because I don't have that score. So please share that Chambers and Glenn store if you have it. Last time Tommy was 0-3. Whew. I got a few theories. I don't think it was his last year at Independence because they were still pretty good. They weren't on the championship level. I think they were like 9-4, man. I mean, you might have to go all the way back to his start of his career at Harding because a lot of people don't know this. When Tommy Knott started at Harding, his first 2 years he was 3-7. And imagine if that happened today. They may not have gave him a third year, but people were a lot more patient back in the mid '80s, and in that third season, that's when things started taking off for Tommy Knotts. But maybe it was the beginning of his coaching career. That might be the last time. Thank you, chat administrator. 40-0, Chambers over Glenn. Yeah. That's what we kind of figured. We've talked about that game this week. Let's see. West Meck, second win on the season, 30-21 over Ashbrook. They got it going. Now. Shout out to Coach Beatty and those guys. Rock Hill over Lancaster, 36-16. High Brighton big over West Caldwell, 50-7. Bessemer City big over Avery County, 46-0. It's their home opener for Bessemer City. Shout out to Coach Short and those guys. York going to 2-0, 38-14 over Union County. Drawn over East Burke, 33-24. Wait for Drawn to get a big win there. Nation Ford over Catawba Ridge, 17-13. They're making some noise in the upstate this year. And you don't see Catawba Ridge lose 2 in a row very often. East Lincoln over Lincolnton, 28-14. Cardinal Gibbons, 26, Richmond 9. Providence with a big win going into Gaston County, 41-20 over Hunter Huss. I see this comment right here. Yeah, trying to find that score. I know we were talking about it earlier. I know Crest it was a high scoring game. Yeah, here it is. Crest 53, Shelby 38. Wow. Defense optional, but Crest continues to impress, especially offensively. Remaining undefeated on the season. Good job to those guys. And Shelby, they're gonna be okay. When they get into conference play, they're probably gonna be one of the best teams in their conference. And they'll get into the playoffs and try to get those things corrected that they need to correct. So but playing Cleveland County teams, it's iron sharpens iron. And yeah, I mean, a lot of that is the teams they're playing. I mean, they're playing really good football teams, man. I mean, Kings Mountain and Crest are not pushovers, and AC Reynolds is not a pushover either. Did AC Reynolds beat? I need to look at that. I think AC Reynolds upset someone tonight because I know their running back's not back yet. Kings Mountain over Burns. Speaking of Cleveland County, Kings Mountain over Burns, 23-14. A little bit lower scoring there. There's definitely some defense played in that one. Forest View over Freedom, 27-19. Salisbury big over East Rowan, 65-7. Our friends at Hickory Grove, 47-0 big over South Wake. Hickory Grove off to a 3-0 start. East Gaston over Stuart Kramer, 35-14. All right. Those are all the scores I got. It says Max Preps is missing a couple of scores. I usually use ScoreStream, but I don't have it set up yet for this season. So if you got any more scores, feel free to throw them out. We'll have some pictures and highlights from Harding and Garinger. Probably have pictures tonight. May have highlights tomorrow morning, depending on how the night goes. And next week, I'm only doing a JV game. Producer will be at Chambers and Hickory Ridge, and he'll do some commentary and I think pictures from the sideline next week. So no Friday Night Live next week, but I appreciate everyone being here as always, and have a great weekend, and we'll see you Wednesday on Football Focus Weekly. It's going to be a fun show. I'm going to have to address a couple things that come up. Good night, everybody. Appreciate it.